The safest sounding advice in all of investing. Just buy the S&P 500. You're diversified, you're covered, is quietly one of the most aggressive bets you can make. Now hang on, I'm not here to talk you out of it. For most people, most of the time, it's still the right call, and I mean that. But that sentence is hiding something, because the S&P today is not the thing that advice was written about. Picture the whole market as a city skyline. 500 towers, one for each company. And the taller the tower, the more of your money is in it. You'd expect an even skyline. It isn't. And what it's quietly become is a bet that almost nobody realizes they're making. Let me open it up and show you. Look at the skyline. 7 towers, just 7, are about a third of the whole city, not 7%. A third, 34%. And just the 3 tallest, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, are a fifth of everything by themselves, 20% in 3 names. But here's the part that actually matters. And it's not just that they're big. It's that they're the ones that move. Take 2023, a great year. The market rose 24%. 2/3 of that entire gain came from 7 names. The other 493 barely budged. Now think about what being diversified is supposed to do for you. When one thing falls, the others are big enough to hold you up. But if 7 names are the whole show, then the other 493 can't hold up anything. They're simply too small to matter. When the giants stumble, there's nothing underneath to catch you. So even though the label says 500, the way your risk is actually spread, the way the thing actually behaves, is closer to a fund of about 50 stocks than 500. You think you own 500 companies. You really own about 7 that decide your outcome, and 493 along for the ride. And those 7 aren't even 7 different bets. 8 of the 10 tallest towers are the same kind of company, all leaning on one story: AI. This skyline is the most lopsided it's been in 50 years, more top-heavy than the peak of the dot-com bubble, and you never chose any of it. The fund automatically buys more of whatever's already tallest, so the tall towers just keep getting taller. A decade ago, those same 7 were only 12% of the city. Today, they're 34%. Nobody flipped a switch. The machine did it, a little more every day, until Own the Market had quietly become bet big on 7 American giants, still wearing the same friendly name. Now maybe you're fine with that. American companies are the best in the world. Fair. But be honest about where all of it sits. Every tower in that skyline is American. All 500. It's one city. And America, for all its strength, is under 60% of the world's stock market. There are whole other skylines out there. Taipei, Copenhagen, Seoul, Tokyo. And you own nothing in any of them. You don't own TSMC in Taiwan, the company that makes the actual chip inside the Nvidia you're betting everything on. You don't own ASML in the Netherlands, the only company on earth that builds the machines that make those chips. Not Novo Nordisk, behind Ozempic. Not Nestlé, not Samsung, not Toyota. A fund that owns the whole world holds around 9,000 companies. Yours holds 500. One city, one flag. And notice how none of that scares you. If someone said they'd put every dollar they own into one country, Canada, Korea, Brazil, pick one, you'd hear it right away as a wild, all your eggs bet. But put every dollar into this country, and somehow it sounds like the sensible, responsible thing to do. It's the same move. The only difference is that this one is home, and home has a way of never looking like a bet at all. Now, if you know your stuff, you're already objecting. I'm not really betting on one country. Apple, Microsoft, these giants earn almost half their money overseas. I already own the world through them. That's the single best argument against everything I've just said. And it's half true. About 40% of the S&P's revenue does come from outside America. But selling abroad is not the same as protecting you. You still own only US-listed, US-priced companies in the same handful of industries. moving on the same American interest rates, the same dollar, the same policies, all at once. And here's the proof. In the lost decade, 2000 to 2009, those giants were every bit as global as they are today. It didn't save them. When America had its bad decade, your multinationals had it right alongside it. Global sales don't diversify your risk. Owning the globe does. So buying the S&P isn't a neutral, no-opinion move. It's a prediction that America stays on top, and you are not the first person to feel this sure. Go back to 1989. Tokyo had the tallest skyline in the world. Japan's stock market was bigger than America's. Japanese companies were buying up the planet. One of them bought Rockefeller Center. At the peak, the land under Tokyo's Imperial Palace was reportedly worth more than all the real estate in California. 8 of the 10 most valuable companies on Earth were Japanese. Everyone knew Japan was the future. So picture one person, a 30-year-old in Tokyo that year, doing everything right, not gambling, just buying the market that was so obviously winning. He was exactly as certain as you are right now. That market peaked in December 1989. It did not come back for 34 years. He got married. He watched his kids grow up and move out. He was 64, retired, before that money was worth what he first put in. Not a crash you shake off in a year. A whole working life, just to break even. And here's the part I can't get around, so I won't pretend to. I cannot tell you America is different. Nobody can. There is no number that tells you when a country's turn is over. The research doesn't have one, and neither do I. Anyone who swears they know which way the next decade breaks is guessing. So I'm not going to stand here and promise you this bet keeps paying. I can't. I'll just tell you how sure we are of it right now. One American company, Nvidia, is worth more than the entire nation of Japan. That's the confidence. And confidence was the one thing Tokyo had too. So what do you actually do? Not the opposite. Don't rip your money out of America and bet on its fall. Because here's the one thing nobody can actually do. Call which country wins next. Look at the record. Since 1975, the lead between America and the rest of the world has flipped back and forth in stretches that last about 8 years each. The U.S. is on an unusually long run right now, one of the longest ever, which is exactly why it feels like it could never end. And picking the winner in any single year is even more hopeless. Over the last 20 years, the U.S. had the best returns of any developed market. And even so, it was the single best performing country in just one of those 20 years. In 7 of them, it landed in the bottom half. New Zealand was the best market in the world in 2019, and the worst 2 years later. Nobody rings a bell. So do the humble thing. Stop trying to pick the winning country and own all of them. Keep your American giants. Just add the rest of the world your fund pretends isn't there. Then it doesn't matter which skyline rises next. Whichever one it is, you already own it. Now, the honest catch. For the last 15 years, doing this would have cost you. America didn't just win, it roughly doubled the rest of the world, about 11% a year to their 4. Spreading out just meant earning less and feeling dumb for it. But that's what insurance always feels like, a waste until the year you need it. Go back to 2000 through 2009. $10,000 in the S&P became about $9,000. You lost the money for a decade. That same $10,000 spread across the world, more than doubled. The move that looks foolish in one decade is the one that saves you in the next. You're not buying it because you know America will stumble. You're buying it because you can't know that it won't. So, one last time. Just buy the S&P isn't the safe, no-opinion default it sounds like. You're not diversified. You're concentrated. A third of your money in 7 names, 1 country, 1 story, and it just happens to have a reassuring name. It's been winning for over a decade now, long enough to feel permanent. it might keep winning. But now you can see it for what it is, not a sure thing. A bet. Real diversification was never about being smarter than the market. It's about not having to be. So the next time someone says, just buy the S&P, you're diversified, you'll hear what's really in that sentence. Not a fact, a forecast. And you'll think of the last country the whole world was sure about, and the 34 years it took to prove everyone wrong.